So good morning and good day to our audience. It's a real pleasure to be here as part of the Fierce JPM Fireside Chat series. My name is Kurt Nielsen. I'm with Expert Insights, and it is a real pleasure, and I'm sure that the audience is going to experience that as well, to spend some time with Dr. Armin Spura. He is currently the CEO of BioDuro, but has a fantastic and very storied career in healthcare. Um, he is a former CEO of Crown Bioscience. He's also worked at a wide variety of biopharma and pharma services companies in a variety of roles. And I think, and particularly relevant for portions of our discussion today, extensive experience at companies like Thermo Fisher and WuXi, and is somebody, again, who's an accomplished scientist with a PhD, and again, has worked on both the buy side and sell side of the services. So we are really thrilled to have you with us, Dr. Spura. So, hello.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kurt. It's really a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak at this event.
Fantastic. So, um, now let's get into it. I think that we've had a number of really good discussions about how we see how we've experienced the past in drug development and how we see the future. And there's been just some amazing changes over the course of both of our careers. So one of the things I wanted to get us started with and kick off this conversation is talking a little bit about the pharma services industry context, in particular the CRDMO, and talking a little bit about how things have evolved in the past, but as important, how do you see things moving and changing and getting better in the future?
Yeah, thanks very much for the question. First of all, I think there has been a big change in the sense that today CRDMOs are much more common than they were 10 years ago. If you go back 10 years ago, there really was more of a separation between the discovery side, where we had a CRO, and then the CMO side or CDMO side of the business. Whereas now you're starting to see more and more of a tendency towards integration of the solutions, having more steps under one roof. The other thing we've observed is about modalities. You see more and more of these CRDMO players helping cover more than one of the modalities. For example, at BioDuro, while we're initially known for small molecules, these days we can also handle ADCs as well. We do large molecules for certain parts as well, for example, in DMPK. And then lastly, you see more and more geographic integration, where many of the larger players may have a large footprint in China, but then they might also have some footprint perhaps in India, or in addition in the US and in Europe as well, just to hedge some of the geopolitical risks, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit more later.
Fantastic. And I think for those folks who kind of follow movie pop culture, right? There's the need for speed, and pharma companies and biotechs, for a whole variety of reasons, are looking for speed and increasingly efficiency. Again, for obvious reasons, everyone's looking for their investments, to go farther. So, and we've seen some amazing examples of what we can do in terms of achieving speed and efficiency when we have focus, right? And I think we saw that, during COVID time. So, um, tell us a little bit about how you see the speed and efficiency challenges changing and evolving, and how CRDMOs solve those challenges or reduce them.
Yes, the need for speed is absolutely critical, because you obviously, every day that you are faster to get the drugs on the market, more money you save and can realize your gains sooner. And so one of the things that we have been doing at BioDuro in particular is to make sure that we co-locate many of these services under one roof, or at least in the same city. So as we talk about handing off from discovery through DMPK, through then the development stage, the scale-up stage, we do all of that under one roof. And not only that, we even have one program manager or one project manager that can oversee, for any given customer, the end-to-end process there as well to make sure that they're always in the know and know what the customers need throughout the journey. So that helps speed up that. There's no handoff that has to happen between sites or even between different providers, which definitely usually adds a lot of time to the journey here. And then also, if you look specifically at the chemical synthesis, a lot of those building blocks that are pretty typical to many of the molecules and pathways, we have those in-house so that you don't need to always resynthesize them or reacquire them. And that also speeds up the time to finish discovery and also makes it easier to make sure that we have easy hands-off here.
Fantastic. You mentioned earlier or touched on globalization, and at least in my view, no conversation about drug development is complete without some sort of touch point on globalization. I mean, it's the globalization of the pharma industry, no matter where you look, is at record high levels, and that's not going to abate, at least in my opinion. But how do you see globalization? Do you see that is somehow going to change? How do you see that CRDMOs, especially in the model that you just mentioned, effectively continues to benefit those customers who are looking for the benefits of globalization?
Yeah, globalization is obviously on everybody's mind at the moment with lots of political changes. But one aspect of globalization that we need to talk about from a CRDMO perspective is really the logistics area, the shipping area. Because inherently, if you go beyond the United States, some customers might be concerned about having more challenges to ship samples, let's say to China, which is in our case. So one of the things we do to make that easier for customers is we, for example, have one of our sites located in the free trade zone in Shanghai. And with that comes a fast track in the customs channels. It makes it much easier for import and export. There's also so-called green channels that you can get from the local government. So that makes logistics much easier. We also offer options, for example, to have samples sent first to our US location and we then handle the rest. So logistics as such can be mitigated with those challenges. The other piece that's important in terms of politics here is data security. We make sure that everything is fully encrypted as you send it over, that only the team that works with one particular customer has access to that data and not anybody else. And then lastly, for those customers who would be hesitant to be doing work, let's say in China, we also have some options where we have redundancy in the system so that we can also offer services in other countries, let's say in the United States. Of course, those kinds of services then come with a different price point because labor is, of course, much more expensive. So that's something that customers will have to weigh and consider whether they're willing to do that and how important it is for them to do work, let's say in country versus in China, where the quality really is even today extremely good. And many customers go to China for that. Also, the quality of the work that you realize there is extremely solid.
Well, let's pivot to talk a little bit about the science that is prevalent and emerging in pharma and healthcare today. I think given your experience and your education, you're certainly well positioned to have some, I think, really interesting views about these things. But again, we're seeing rapid developments in a number of different areas. I'm to tell you about whether it's protein degraders, GLP-1s, mRNA. It's a vast and fascinating world. So how are you seeing things with respect to what's hot in discovery and what is the future, and then help us understand again how CRDMOs need to adapt and evolve to be able to meet those needs of those new hot technologies and techniques.
Yeah, you mentioned GLP-1 analogs, and obviously with obesity drugs these days, that is one of the areas that's become extremely hot very quickly. And that has a direct impact on what we support at BioDuro. Traditionally, we were a player that started with small molecule synthesis. And we have then branched out to really also support peptide discovery and scale up for our clients as well, because many of these GLP-1 analogs are more peptides than just small molecules. So that's definitely an area that's become hot again. Peptides used to be more popular in the past, and then there was a bit of a hiatus there, right? ADCs, of course, have been popular now for a while, but I don't see anything there flagging just yet either. So that for us is also another natural area of expansion where we place a lot of bets, is because we already make the small molecule anyway. We also have some antibody capabilities, and now it's a matter of conjugating the small molecule to the antibody. So we offer those types of services as well, and we see that as a very prominent area of discovery and research for biotech and pharma as well. And of course, cell and gene therapy, although I have to say in China in particular, there was a bit of a glut of those modalities, and too many went after the same targets, so that you see a little bit of a decline, maybe not worldwide, but certainly in APAC and China in that space.
Very interesting. So in the I don't know, the handful of minutes we have left, I think there was maybe a couple of more topics that I think would be, I think helpful for our audience and insightful for our audience. And let's talk a little bit about how the CRDMO model can help with streamlining the complexities, that are maybe not inherent, but that often arise, in the drug development process. And then we can close out the discussion with some topics around scaling and larger volumes of supply, and then prognosticate a little bit about, again, what does the future hold in terms of collaborations between CRDMOs and their clients.
Sure, sounds good. So I think first of all, if you talk about sort of how you can streamline the complex process, it's a little bit of what we talked about earlier, is making sure that you have, for example, one program or project manager that oversees the entire project with the client end to end. So, we have a number of different clients. Some will just do discovery with us. Others will want to go the whole journey that we offer. And when we know that, we make sure that we bring in one program manager that works with the customer through the entire time to make that much easier. We also have an IND project leader. So basically where we can help customers provide all the services that you need in order to package the whole IND project and file that. So we have lots of regulatory assistance as well. But then as you look more broadly about how a CRDMO scales to achieve clinical and commercial needs, right? I think the key here is that you have very close coordination between the discovery teams and the process teams as well, so that you make it much easier for clients there. Other pieces that we deal a lot with clients is further downstream, is they want to optimize the solubility and bioavailability of their molecules. So how can you help them with that? So for that, we also offer services, and think that that's critical for CRDMOs to be able to do that as well. And then lastly, when we talk about the future of collaboration between our clients and service providers in general, in the past, we and others were just seen as outsourcing partners. But now it's shifted a little bit, that we're really true partners, that we're seen as more of an extension of their own labs, a partner that can provide, even deep R&D services, maybe optimize a synthesis path that the client wouldn't even have thought of on their own. And also making sure that we then embed within that everything that's important to the client, like data security aspects, ESG aspects, sustainability. We have recently gotten a gold star for the EcoVadis, which is a ESG measure, so that we're very much similar to how the lab operates in a pharma or a biotech company, and become an extension and a true partner. So that's, I think where the industry is really headed.
Fantastic. I think, are there any other kind of parting thoughts or wisdom you want to share with our audience before we close out? I mean, it's been really an insightful and interesting 13 or 14 minutes so far.
Well, I think it's a very exciting time to be both in biotech, pharma, as well as in the pharma services space, because number one, with the aging population, there's going to be an increased need in getting medicines to market and getting it to market faster. And, funding, we had a bit of a dip at the moment, but I see that going up again, hopefully in 25 and beyond. And so it's just a very exciting time to be in this space, in the growing space. And also the amount of outsourcing continues to increase as well. So I truly feel like this is the time to be in this industry right now. So and we look forward to working with our clients to launch their drugs even faster.
That's fantastic, Dr. Spur. I can't thank you enough for spending this time with us. It's really been incredibly fast, 15 minutes here, and I think you shared a lot of priceless insights, with the audience. So, on behalf of Fierce JPM and Orientation Marketing, I want to thank you for helping us with this program and wishing you a fantastic calendar 25. And again, thank you very much. This is Kurt Nielsen. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Kurt.